Vusimuzi Cat Matlala slapped with 7 more charges including murder. Matlala's cash-in-transit heist gang member shot dead. The clock is ticking for Vusimuzi Cat Matlala. Accused of everything from organized theft to targeted attacks, this controversial and extremely dangerous businessman is now facing the most serious charge of all, murder. Just this month, 7 new charges were filed, tightening the noose around his neck. But as the investigation intensifies, the body count rises. But the mystery deepens with the death of one of his alleged partners in crime, gunned down after a cash-in-transit heist. Was it a hit? A desperate attempt to silence a witness? Or something even more sinister? Prepare to unravel a complex web of deceit, violence, and unanswered questions in this gripping true crime investigation. This is a story of secrets, betrayals, and the ruthless pursuit of wealth in the heart of South Africa. The latest charges stem from a series of investigations that link Matlala to multiple incidents across different regions. Prosecutors are working to combine these cases into one major trial, aiming to bring everything under the roof of the Johannesburg High Court. Among the accusations are attempts on lives, money laundering, and now murder, with connections to events that have left lasting impacts on those involved. At the center of this storm is Matlala's recent court appearance in Alexandra, where he stood alongside his co-accused, fighting for his freedom while the state builds its case brick by brick. To understand how Matlala arrived at this point, one must trace back to the events of October 2023, when a black BMW carrying actress Tebogo Tobechene and her friends came under fire on a busy highway near Sandton in Johannesburg. The incident happened late at night, between 10 p.m. and 10:30 p.m. at the corner of Bryanston and Wilton Drive. Bullets rained down on the vehicle, injuring Tobechene in the foot and leaving her friend Anele Malinga with a severe spinal cord wound that resulted in paralysis. Another passenger, Khumbulani Ngube, was also caught in the chaos. Tobechene, known for her roles in popular shows like Mufango, later pointed fingers at Matlala as the one behind the plot, claiming it was an attempt to end her life due to their past relationship. Matlala has consistently rejected these claims, insisting he had no part in the attack. This shooting forms the core of the initial charges against Matlala and his group, which include attempted murder and conspiracy. Prosecutors allege that between October 12 and October 17, 2023, the accused planned and carried out the act, even going so far as to launder over 120,000 rand tied to the scheme through fake invoices designed to hide the money's origins. The state points to cell phone records and other evidence showing coordination among the group. Matlala's wife, Tsagani, is implicated in these efforts, accused of sending him a fraudulent identity document from Eswatini, which he allegedly used to travel there at least 3 times. This document, bearing a different surname, adds to concerns that Matlala could flee if given the chance, a key reason his bail was denied. In court, Magistrate Saita Prinsloo ruled that Matlala had not shown exceptional reasons for release, highlighting his potential as a flight risk due to rumored access to a private jet, assets in Mauritius, and that questionable Eswatini ID.
The pattern of allegations across 3 separate incidences, the Tobayani shooting, the Sibanyoni shooting, and the DJ Wetty shooting, suggest a repeated modus operandi involving target violence. Even accepting that the applicant disputes the allegation, the gravity and the consistency of the state's version creates a substantial risk that his release would endanger the safety and the security of the complainants and the wider community.
Even while in custody, Matlala was found with a cell phone, which further damaged his case. His legal team, led by advocate Lawrence Hodds, has pushed back, arguing that any data on seized devices linking him to politicians or police was planted by authorities. They also deny he owns any jet or boat, calling out the investigating officer for providing false information under oath. Now, with the addition of 7 more charges, the scope widens dramatically. These include murder, tied to separate incidents that prosecutors say connect through shared elements like weapons and accomplices. The National Prosecuting Authority is pushing to centralize dockets from places like Orlando, Pretoria, Sandton, and Vereeniging, creating a unified front for prosecution. 2 specific cases from Pretoria West and Littleton are already in the process of being merged, with approval from the Pretoria Director of Public Prosecutions. The national director is expected to finalize this by November 11, 2025, allowing the entire matter to move forward. Among Matlala's co-accused are Musa Gegana, Tleko Floyd Mabusela, and Ntabiseng Nzama, who is Mabusela's daughter. They face similar charges, with Nzama recently added for money laundering. Tsagani Matlala and Nzama are out on bail of 20,000 rand and 10,000 rand respectively, while Gegana, Mabusela, and Matlala remain behind bars. Gegana and Mabusela chose not to pursue bail, perhaps sensing the weight of the evidence against them. The firearms seized from some of these individuals tell a chilling part of the story. In April 2024, police recovered an AK-47 and 2 pistols from Gegana, Mabusela, and another associate after the killing of Vereeniging engineer Armand Swart, who had raised alarms about an irregular tender. These weapons have been forensically matched to at least 18 different crime scenes, including the tragic deaths of musician and nightclub owner Opa DJ Somebody Sefoga and his 2 bodyguards in 2022. This linkage suggests a pattern of calculated acts, where the same tools were used across provinces to eliminate threats or rivals. Matlala's name has also surfaced in connection to other attempted hits, such as those on taxi boss Joe Sibanyoni and Silky DJ Vetis Mugubu. These cases are part of the dockets being centralized, painting a picture of a man allegedly at the heart of a network that doesn't hesitate to target those who cross its path. His background as a tender tycoon, securing contracts with the South African Police Service, adds layers of intrigue. A News 24 investigation earlier exposed him as someone involved in tender fraud, which led to broader probes into police capture and the formation of the Madlanga Commission. The Madlanga Commission, set up to investigate claims of criminality and political meddling in the justice system, has brought even more revelations to light. Testimonies there describe Matlala as a key player in a cartel known as the Big Five. This group is said to operate with sophistication, handling drug distribution on local and international scales, contract killings, and cross-border hijackings. They maintain a structured approach, with clear planning and security measures that allow them to evade capture for years.
Amongst these cartels, which are made up of different syndicates, there is one identified in the country known as Big Five, which have since been identified as being very sophisticated, and it has got widespread influence, and it's involved in a broad spectrum of their illicit activities. The structure and the leadership of the particular cartel that will dominate my current testimony is believed to be having its head office in Gauteng for obvious reasons. Gauteng is the economic powerhouse of the country, and then with syndicates and groupings, or the capability of the same cartel to operate throughout the country. That is the currently identified structure and leadership of the cartel. The currently identified cartel, known as Big Five, is having a structure as reflected, with the main commodity being drugs. This is an ongoing project investigation. From the identification of the Big Five, the progress made, those that are mentioned, reflected there in their boxes or positions, they've already been addressed, being a Mr. Katiso Mulifi, as well as a Mr. Muzi Matlala, and then the other 3 are still being addressed.
Lieutenant General Dumisani Kumalo from SAPS Crime Intelligence testified that such cartels use cash-in-transit heists as a major funding source, generating quick, untraceable money to fuel their empires. This cash pays for bribes, weapons, legal defenses, and recruitment of loyal operatives. One such operative was Johannes Mkomazi, a career criminal whose path crossed with Matlala's in ways that now haunt ongoing investigations. Mkomazi's life ended in July this shootout in Crown Mines, part of a wave of cash-in-transit incidents in KwaZulu-Natal. What started as what seemed like a routine heist turned deadly when police confronted the suspects, leading to Mkomazi's death along with 4 others. This event, far from isolated, peeled back layers of a hidden world where seasoned criminals like Mkomazi execute high-risk jobs for larger syndicates. Criminal record stretches back over 4 decades, beginning in his teenage years during the late 1980s amid the turmoil of apartheid's end. His early arrests involved theft and housebreaking, but he quickly escalated to more serious offenses, including attempted murder. Light sentences in the 1990s and 2000s allowed him to refine his methods, learning to navigate the justice system to his advantage. By the 2000s, records show him involved in firearms possession and organized robberies, marking his entry into networks that required teams, planning, and heavy armament. The pivotal connection to Matlala emerged in 2015, when both were arrested in a case involving hijacking and stolen goods. This arrest highlighted how vehicle thefts provide syndicates with tools for bigger operations, like untraceable cars for heists, while stolen goods feed into money laundering channels. Matlala, already a contractor for SAPS at the time, being linked to Mkomazi suggested a bridge between street-level criminals and those with institutional ties. Yet, after 6 years on the court roll, the case was withdrawn in 2021 without explanation from police, leaving many to wonder about possible interference. This withdrawal fits a pattern discussed at the Matlala Commission, where cases against powerful figures mysteriously collapse. Khumalo's testimony emphasized how cartels like the Big Five maintain influence across provinces and institutions, using layered operations to keep their hands clean. Frontline criminals handle the risky work, while businessmen provide cover through legitimate enterprises and connections to law enforcement. Cash-in-transit heists serve as a cornerstone, offering instant funds that support everything from corruption to expansion. Recent heists in KwaZulu-Natal underscore this crisis. In May 2025, a guard lost his life in Mandeni, with suspects later confronted in Boksburg. The July incident in Crown Mines, where Mkomazi died, revealed coordinated elements like safe houses and escape plans, showing these are not impulsive acts but parts of a larger strategy. Suspects often choose to fight rather than surrender, hinting at fears of betrayal or reprisal within their networks. Mkomazi's death came at a critical juncture, just as the Matlala Commission ramped up its scrutiny of SAP's corruption and Matlala's role in the Big Five. Had he survived, Mkomazi might have provided insider details on cartel structures, police ties, and operations. His silence now benefits those higher up, prompting speculation about whether his end was more than a coincidence. The 2015 case, in particular, demands re-examination, not just for prosecution, but to uncover systemic failures. Questions linger: who decided to drop the charges? Was evidence tampered with or witnesses intimidated? Did Matlala's SAPS connections play a role? Similar patterns in other cases could reveal how cartels dismantle legal threats before they take hold. Matlala's links extend further, including associations with figures like Getiso KT Molefe, another alleged crime boss facing murder charges for the 2022 killings of DJ Somebody and Hector Buthelezi, known as DJ Vintos. Prosecutors note overlaps in hitmen and firearms used in these incidents, suggesting shared resources within the same underworld circles. Molefe's cases add to the web, showing how personal vendettas and business rivalries fuel a cycle of targeted actions. As the centralization process unfolds, the state anticipates a complex trial. The NPA spokesperson has indicated that while Matlala seeks to appeal his bail denial, they will oppose it firmly, believing the original court decision was sound in both law and facts.
We can confirm as the NPA that we received their motion. He intends to appeal the decision of the Alexandra Magistrates Court that denied him bail. And furthermore, as the state, we can indicate that we are in the process of preparing ourselves to oppose his application. We believe that this court was not misdirected whether in law or factually. So we'll be opposing this application. However, we are still awaiting a date for the set down of that hearing.
The appeal process will review the evidence presented, checking for any misapplication, but new information won't be introduced. This comes amid Matlala's claims that the state is fabricating links, including data on his devices that supposedly tie him to influential figures. Teboko Tsobech in his story adds a personal dimension to this broader narrative. After the 2023 shooting, she fled South Africa out of fear, now living in an undisclosed location abroad. Her injury, though not as severe as her friend's paralysis, forced her to rebuild her life away from the spotlight. The attack on her, prosecutors say, was meticulously planned, with the accused conspiring over several days to carry it out. The use of heavy firepower and the precision of the timing point to professionals, not amateurs. The firearms ballistic matches extend the story's reach. The AK-47 and pistols found after Armand Swart's death in Vereeniging connect to a string of events, including the DJ Somebody incident. Swart, an engineer, had flagged irregularities in a tender, making him a target in what appears to be a bit. This ties back to Matlala's tender dealings, where his business interests allegedly intersect with criminal methods to protect profits. The Big Five cartel's operations, as detailed in commission hearings, show a diversified empire. Drug trafficking provides steady income, while hijackings supply logistics. Contract killings eliminate competition, and money laundering through fake invoices and fronts keeps everything flowing. CIT heists, like the one that claimed Mkomazi's life, inject bursts of cash that fund expansion. These heists require insider intelligence, knowledge of routes, timings, and security weaknesses, often obtained through compromised sources within law enforcement. KwaZulu-Natal's recent spate of such incidents highlights the regional hotspot. The Mandeni heist in May 2025 involved a deadly confrontation, with suspects tracked to another province before their end. Crown Mines in July followed a similar script, a group armed and ready, leading to a fatal standoff. Mkomazi, with his long history, fit perfectly as a recruit, experienced, reliable, and embedded in the scene. His 2015 link to Matlala suggests early collaboration, perhaps in building the networks that now face scrutiny. The Madlanga Commission's work is uncovering these intersections. Testimonies reveal how cartels infiltrate state institutions, using tenders as entry points. Matlala SAP's contracts, for instance, could have provided access to sensitive information, aiding in evasion and planning. The Commission points to a need for reform, addressing how cases like the 2015 one vanish, allowing figures to operate unchecked. As Matlala's case heads toward November 11, 2025, for further proceedings, the addition of murder charges elevates the stakes. These stem from linked deaths, including those tied to the firearms and accomplices. The state's push to consolidate aims to streamline what could be a landmark trial, exposing not just individual acts but an entire ecosystem.
Thanks for watching.